book on a very good trail. So Maro, thank you very much for doing that. Bolu is not here. Bolu followed lead discussing chapter 2. Today and tonight, we're going to be looking at chapter 3 and 4. And I have two presenters that I, have utmost respect for. Afsat is going to be leading us on chapter 3 of this book, The AI Factory, which is the core of New Firm, discussing New Firm being a scalable decision factory powered by software, data, and algorithm. Yesterday, we saw the advantages of AI application, and I love the two anchors that actually opened the section. If by now AI is not beneficial to you, please, you need to see Bolu. You need to see, the majority of the house. We need to rework your thinking. We need to, if you're not utilizing AI by any way in your profession, or you've not seen the application of AI, in your own industry, and you're not impacted by AI, then something is not right. We have been meant to understand that there's a huge transformation happening. The topic yesterday, the opening chapter, was the exposure into art and creative, into AI and creative industry. How AI is changing the algorithm, changing businesses, changing different landscape. And Maru unpacked a lot of case studies yesterday. Today, like I said, we're looking at the AI factory, which is going to be led by Afsat. And afterwards, we're going to listen to Engineer Ken looking at re-architecting the firm, right? How we can fully utilize the power of digital network and AI to be able to drive our operating architecture. So on that premise, I'd like to call on Afsat. Please take over the mic, present your screen, and walk us through chapter 3. Lady Afsat.
Thank you so much, Princess. Good evening, business readers.
Good evening,
Just
Good evening.
Give me some minute. Let me share my slides. Okay. Please, can every one of us, can you see my slides? Presentation.
Yes, you can see your slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just like Princess mentioned earlier, I'm gonna walk through each and every one of us on chapter 3, and it's titled The AI Factory. The AI Factory encompasses the components of AI tools, the challenges faced while making use of these components. That's what chapter 3 basically entails. Now, let's get to, now from chapter 3 mentioned that it started with capturing the traditional system used in gathering data, and then how the modern system works. That's the use of AI. Now, from the traditional production of the AI factory, it mentioned that the Industrial Revolution transformed manufacturing through mass production. Today, AI is transforming decision-making. Traditional decisions rely on individual judgment, while the AI factory standardizes and scales decision across the entire organization. So AI generally is an artificial intelligence. It functions like human, but it is not human that actually acts on it. Before now, the traditional mode of accessing data, protecting it, and then gathering data, it was a successful aspect of carrying out all these components, but then they face challenges in managing it financially and even utilizing it well. But AI, with the coming of AI, it makes it simpliciter. Everything works according to it should. Now, what is AI Factory? AI Factory is a scalable decision engine where software, data, and algorithm power automated data-driven decisions. The author gave us an example using Netflix. We all know of the app Netflix is used viewers make use of it to watch movies, cartoons, and what have you. So he used Netflix as a case study, whereby he said Netflix, they exemplifies some models by accessing people's data. Any user that makes use of Netflix, it automatically has their data. And the Netflix app has an idea what that particular user wants, what is looking for. So for each and every user that makes use of Netflix, they know the AI, the AI model on Netflix already knows this is what this particular user wants. And the author mentioned that all users of Netflix have different data algorithms. They have different approach, different mode of usage and what they are looking for in from using Netflix. So he mentioned that they systematically driving personalized user experiences through continuous data analysis and algorithmic recommendations. The AI factory components. I mentioned earlier that chapter 3 talked about the components of AI. It talked about the data pipeline, the algorithms, the infrastructure, then experimentation platform. Now, for the data pipeline is like the fuel, the delivery system that feeds data into the factory. That's the model created for that particular purpose. Whoever makes use of such model is sharing its data to that particular model. Now, the algorithm aspect of it is the machine, like the engine that gets this data, and then it gives you the predictions, future predictions, current predictions, and it detects challenges, it detects fraud where needed, and then decision making. It tells owners of such model that this is where you need to lay more emphasis on. This is what your users need, particularly either age bracket or the gender, in the aspect of gender. Now, we are talking about infrastructure. Infrastructure is now the software that connects, that gives it the driving force. That's infrastructure. It is like software and connectivity acting as pipes and power. Experimentation platform is more of, okay, you have gotten the data, the algorithms, that's the machine is now working well, the software is already functioning, and now they want to test that particular model. So in testing the model, they will know whether innovation has taken place, they will know where to improve on, they will know their challenges, and then they will improve on what they have already created. Now, fueling the AI factory for the data pipeline. Integrating financial and operational data requires accuracy and consistency across all sources. Eliminating redundancies and ensuring compatible variables is complex at scale, yet essential for powering reliable AI decisions. For data pipeline, it comes along with challenges, just like I mentioned earlier, for the traditional model. Because if you want to have a mass production, if you are using the traditional model, there's no way you can excel the way you want. But when you make use of AI, it gives you swift, reliable decision input on how to move ahead, and you have this decision-making mechanism on the model you seek to achieve, what you seek to achieve and protect. Then machines behind decisions. We have the supervised learning. There are 4 types of the decisions you make. There is supervised learning. We have the unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, and accurate prediction. For supervised learning, it is more of, I remember in the author mentioned, for under supervised learning, the author mentioned that there is, for example, those that view, if you receive mails, for example, and you see it as a spam mail, you now hit the button of this is a spam mail. Supervised learning is more of humans are the one supervising the system. That's just the basic line. While for unsupervised learning, the essence of unsupervised learning, it discovers hidden patterns in unlabeled data, meaning, okay, for like content creators now, for example, the unsupervised learners, they look at the pattern at which content creators make use of to get more followers, more likes, and comments. Now, reinforcement learning optimizes actions through trial and reward feedback. This is also more of supervised learning as well, because you release the data out, and then you allow people to lay their hands on it, and they give you feedback. Is that feedback that makes you improved on that particular product? Then we have accurate predictions. These ML types enables data-driven decisions at a massive scale, because you have a particular target. Now, the aspect of building infrastructure, we have cloud platforms, software systems, and connectivity which form the backbone that powers AI factories. This infrastructure links data pipelines and algorithms. Thus, you get the data, the machines you make use of, to operational systems, enabling scale and speed. Example, he make use of the Alipay, the case study of Alipay is an online, is more of like an e-commerce app. So what they make use of is QR code. You just need to take your phone, position it on the QR code, and your bills comes up, you make payments, and you get going. So the building the infrastructure, it goes along with the kind of model you are creating. Now the experimentation platform, controlling the valves. The experimentation platform enables seamless connection of new data, algorithms, and infrastructure. It is critical for embedding AI into complex organizations and managing innovations at scale. Now, the challenges experienced when using AI. Embedding AI at scale requires senior level planning and architectural alignment. Organizations must overcome legacy IT silos to unlock the strategic potential of the AI factory in digital transformation. What the author is trying to say here is that even when we have AI and you want to rely on AI, yet there are challenges. Challenges will come in where you need IT experts. You need to train your staff to make use of these tools well. You need to carry out supervision to avoid any form of disruption. And if disruption comes in, there are ways where you will handle it, and that particular model can still function. It should have a sustainable impact, basically. And chapter 4 is what will give us the an exposure to how you can, is an architectural, it talks about the architecture of this infrastructure generally, how you can design your infrastructure, how you can model it well to suit your interest. Now, so let me just take us back the memory lane. What chapter 3 talks about? It talks about the AI factory generally, and then it gives us the components of how this AI factory should function in a given software system or any model designed using AI. Then it further tells us the challenges that organizations may likely experience. And these challenges, how you can curb it is you have to design it well. You need your tech experts. You need to train your staff, and then frequent supervision. Thank you for listening. Hello.
All right, Hafsat, thank you so much for that very clinical presentation. It was brief, it was concise, and I know the chapter had a lot to unpack, but then I know you actually gave us the key takeaways. So over to Princess, are you there?
Nana, you can
Or
continue.
David?
Nana, you can continue.
No, over to you, Princess. I thought you had some technical issues, so I stepped
Go
in
ahead. No,
quickly, but
please go
you're
ahead.
here. So please go ahead.
That was spot on. Please go ahead. I want
Go
to hear
ahead.
your
You're here
voice.
already, Princess. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Asad, thank you so very much. So my key takeaway, looking at the AI factory, because there was quite a lot to unpack from this chapter, but I think it's the real world application for me, right? And that was what really intrigued me. So for AI factory, which refers to the structured system or ecosystem entirely, where you get to build, train, deploy, and improve intelligence. And we've seen this application at scalable levels, right? So, and there are quite a lot of questions for me. Maybe after the second presentation, we can unpack them. How data has played an important role as a raw material for understanding the algorithm behind these systems, okay? For us to be able to lead with predictions that are correct. Although I've seen in most cases, especially in the early phase, how these predictions may be wrong. I don't know if anybody has experienced this. So being someone who has championed digital infrastructure, I could share my experiences, looking at the learning so far and unpacking each and every one of those. But I will leave the room because this is 9. Okay, I'm using Dubai time. This is 9:35, which is 6:35 our climb I'll leave the room for our second presentation, and then we can now unpack, questions, insight, learnings together. If we all agree to that, I think we can welcome Engineer Kenneth to look at chapter 4 of this book. But wonderful presentation. Please, we should all give Absat her flowers in the chat room while we quickly look at re-architecturing the firm from Engineer Ken. Beautiful presentation, very clinically done. And I'll give you my feedback after Engineer Ken.
Good evening, fellow business readers. You're welcome to this book review. Chapter 4, Re-Architecting the Firm.
Should I share my
Princess,
screen?
Yeah. Chapter 4 started with a letter from Jeff Bose to all development. Subject, Bose mandate. All teams will henceforth expose their data and functionality through service interface. Teams must communicate with each other through this interface. There will be no other form of interface communication allowed. No data linking, no direct linking, no direct read of another team's data store, no shared memory model, no backdoor whatsoever. The only communication allowed is via service interface over the network. It does not matter what technology they use. All service interface, without exception, must be designed from the ground to be externalizable. That is to say, the team must plan and design to be able to expose the interface to developers in outside world, no exception. Anyone who does not do this will be fired. Thank you. Have a nice day, Jeff Bose. Bose was trying to re-architect the Amazon. He's the CEO of Amazon. He discovered that the architecture, the technology of a company, the communication, and the technology of a company are similar. You have to consider your architecture for you to be able to do anything. So he agreed that they have to break silos. They have to break silos and then make sure that I'm in a little bit noisy environment, but I'll try my best to concentrate. I'm not in my usual field. So the next slide. Fragmented systems. Initially, the old model of technology was the data were fragmented. They were not in one place. They were siloed, poor scalability, no unified customer view. So, but Bose wanted a situation where everything would be, all the data would be in one platform. So he had to even hire an engineer from Microsoft to design the latest system for them. Next slide. Long before, we had information technology firm involved in silos, operating architecture consisting of specialized large autonomous function and operating unit. Dating back to at least the Italian Renaissance, operating model managed operation complexity by breaking an organization into smaller separate units focused on individual tasks. But they discovered that this, as the company grows, it doesn't work. You need to integrate everything in one-stop shop. So there was no unified customer view, poor scalability. The data were siloed in different areas. Next slide. Next slide. We discovered that data firms are architected differently. And the truth is that your firm, the organization and the data architecture has to rhyme. They mirror each other. It has to be what you want it to be. In the early days, starting from the rise of mass production, from the Ford Motors to GM Motors to the Toyota, production has to be structured so that it will function easily. Software is the core. Data plus AI drives value. With AI coming into play, everything, all the traditional limits we are beginning to give way to the modern way of doing things. And we know it is difficult to transit from your old ways to the modern way. There's what we call the transitional initials. It was not easy for companies to move. That was why Jeff Bezos had to give that order, the command that the architecture of Amazon had to change completely for them to be able to serve much more customers and be able to develop higher futures, new AI ways of doing business. So next slide. The architecture of an AI-powered firm. How do you construct an organization founded on code instead of human labor? We must first remember that unlike humans, a digital system, call it data agent, can communicate at zero marginal cost with virtually infinite number of other agents performing similar tasks. So there was the need to look for some specialized scientists to work to develop your architectural structure for your company to become digitally powered and to become AI powered. We have to leave the traditional silo, the fragmented data era. We have to integrate platform and share data on an integrated platform. So we are not talking about a few connections, but potentially a limitless set. Think of the World Wide Web connecting untold numbers of websites through an extremely flexible and general set of networks and interface. So there was the need to move further to a much larger structure, architecture, in order for you to be able to meet up with the world view, or like Amazon. Amazon developed from 2000, they started changing their architecture to what they intend to get. And at the end, they were able to develop Santana. It got to a point they had Alexas, and they were all doing well. So that was a good innovation. Next slide. System mirror, as we agreed. Resistance to change, that's the nature. It was not an easy thing, but as time went on, they were able to achieve that goal. The need for the entrepreneur or the company owners to develop, have an agile teams that are ready to provide the capabilities, the product management, the data science engineer, the data operating architectures, all go hand in hand. So modern operating models are also characterized by relentless focus on improving performance through learning. Although some of that learning happens in real time, for example, our data fine-tunes algorithm for suggestion and pricing. Much learning is also happening in dedicated experiment platform as described. Evolution of operating models. Complexity. The traditional one had problems because they had complexity, inefficiencies, no innovation. This brought about the need to develop new architecture that will grow the companies to real digital and AI-powered organizations. Next slide. As I said, Amazon's transformation involved performance-based architecture. He had to develop from 2002. He had to take somebody from Microsoft who developed the Santana Flash model. It grew to a level that it became profitable. The need for AI, APIs plus modular systems, agile teams who are ready to innovate, who are ready to develop with time, grow new features. Next slide. The platform evolution, multiple iteration, unified system, like I said, like the Santana, which Amazon used to grow his the organization's architecture to a level that it became a super company, a super online company or digital company. Next slide. Some of the things needed to build an organization, a digital organization or a digital architecture, is data pipelines, machine learning, analytic-driven decisions, which are some of the very things that the scientists from Microsoft was able to unpack for Amazon to achieve its goal. You also need a good, the AI world grow more, you need to have cloud infrastructures. You have to have cloud where you store your digital platforms, your digital informations. Then scalability, innovation ecosystem. Some of these are like Amazon's not so secret weapon on the AI front is its cloud services division. Amazon Web Services, AWS, serving a million plus customers. AWS has a mission to democratize access to information services, including computing, storage, and database. And the AI toolkit is heading in the same direction. Next slide. The AI-powered firm architecture. For you to have a durable and desirable AI-powered architecture in your organization, you have to have shared data, software platform, AI capabilities, and AIPs. All this will help in giving you a solid, scalable organization. Next slide. Design principles. The modularity of the architecture, interoperability, scalability, and data centralization. All these are some of the things that you need to consider when designing your AI organization, the architectural platform for your AI, for your organization to be AI driven or to be an AI driven firm. Next slide. Your team has to be agile, constantly working, agile, small and autonomous, fast in innovation, and delivering continuously delivery. So those are part of, you need an agile team as part of your resource for a good AI architectural organization. Next slide. continuous learning. You must continue to evolve, learn, and try new things. Experimentation to scale. You must try to grow to be scalable, to be able to meet your desired goal in providing AI architecture to your firm or organization. Breaking constraint, near zero marginal cost, unlimited scalability. Those are this. By the time you have a well-powered AI architectural organizations, this is what you get. You break the constraints, you'll be able to rise to the level you want, near zero marginal cost, unlimited scalability, just like Amazon did. Amazon grew like wildfire. That even you can stay in Nigeria and Amazon will publish for you and sell for you, and you make your money. So a company you don't know where it is, just it's because it's online, it's digital. Next, new role for management. Yeah, designers, innovators, integrators, guardians. These are the new roles for AI-powered organizations. They are in constant demand, and for your organization to keep growing, they are necessary. So, I think that's the end of my slide. Okay, this new roles, keep going. There's key takeaways. Key takeaways. Architecture drives success. Data-centric and AIP-driven models win, as I stated earlier. Then final insight. Transformation is architectural, not just digital. For your firm to transform, your organization to transform in this new AI age, it's not just digital, it's architectural. Thank you.
Let me unmute myself. Thank you very much, Engineer Ken, and let me welcome Ugo Joy to the boardroom. You're welcome. So,
thank you. Good evening, Princess. Good evening, everyone.
Dear. How are you? Good evening.
Happy Easter.
Yes, we're still in the mood, but that mood has been flushed away, like the work that came after the whole holiday, right? It's been too much. Engineer Ken, thank you very much for
Yeah.
a beautiful summation of Chapter 4, Re-architecturing the Firm. It's quite a lot to unpack. And I want to emphasize something as we read this book and the presenters are coming up. AI is not native to our generation, but it's important that we read and understand it so that we can also be able to summarize. Yesterday, Nelab talked about summary. The way we read as pharmacists is a little bit more untraditional. So when we read even something that is very new and vague to us, we try to make it a little bit more relatable so that your audience, and please, do we have where is technical support? Where is David? David? Hello, David. If you're there, take us off YouTube, please. Hello, David. So if we can make our learning a little bit more relatable, especially for tough topics like this, I think it will go a long way. Because if you have not read and you don't have an exposure into the digital world and AI application, even some of the words may come strange to you. So please, when you're presenting, also try to mention what the words are. So you see an acronym like AWS, please mention what it is. Amazon Web Services, please mention it so that we can retain those words. I don't know if that makes sense. Otherwise, it will be too much to unpack, too much to digest, and too much to take away. Does it make sense? This is just my own feedback. And feedback not only for the presenters for today, but also for those who are going to be presenting for the rest of the days that will have sections. Please try to don't abbreviate. Always spell out what your abbreviation means, because not everybody know and not everybody has read the book, so that you can simplify it a little bit, make it a little bit more granular so that we can absorb it. Otherwise, thank you to Lady Absat for presenting AI Factory. We have seen what is necessary. What drives AI Factory? For you to have an algorithm, you need data. And data is a new gold, whether you like it or not. Data is a new gold. Whatever you see that is being chunked out as decision is data driven. Most people look at those numbers, look at those patterns, look at those algorithms before they can tell stories or paint pictures. I don't know if that makes sense. For Engineer Ken, I love the fact that you gave us a lot of case studies. I love it. And I'm also intrigued at your presentation because you summarize it so much that you just had highlights and you were able to speak through. And that shows that you were able to read, and assimilate everything about chapter 4. Interestingly, for those in the boardroom, Engineer Ken's presentation came in around, say, about 12-ish. So he did not even do this presentation in a hurry, So he had this presentation all along. In fact, sent 2 different slide take. So imagine, that shows you the level of preparedness, and if you see the slides, you will not be able to even digest it. If he sends the slide to you, you will not even know what he's talking about. So I really appreciate that. I was very intrigued. Overly summarized, I think it's something that we can all learn, because even without the slide, he knew each slide take. So I'm going to leave the room for feedback, for input, for insight, for key takeaways, from our members. So anyone, the room is open. And you guys worked with the time. Thank you so very much. The 2 of you were able to manage the time. It's just about, 7 o'clock, which is so brilliant. Feedback, please. Ugo. Ogo. Joy. Nella. Umi. Miriam is in a busy place, I guess. Yes, Nella.
All right, everyone. Good evening, everyone, once again. Hafsat,
evening.
Engineer Ken, thank you for those beautiful presentations. They were clinical, precise, straight to the point. I think I got from the key takeaways. It made sense what the author was trying to talk about in the chapters you presented. For me, I would say, to put it simply, chapter 3 was simply about the engine, the AI engine, the components of the AI engine. And then chapter 4, which talked about the architectural design, was simply talking about how this engine runs systems. For me, simplifying it in that manner, makes it make more sense. And then I know Engineer Ken talked about the architecture. Yes, even for AI, it's actually what you put in. It's like garbage in, garbage out. All it does is refines whatever processes you put in place. And then while Engineer Ken was giving his presentation, I remembered something in economics, the law of diminishing returns, right? And I was trying to compare the traditional model of business versus AI-driven businesses now and how it's easier to scale. You know, law of diminishing returns in economics tells us when you input, the more you put in one input, I can't remember the law exactly, you know, there will be slight productivity and then it begins to decrease, right?
Less
But then with AI,
utilization.
yes, with AI makes it highly scalable. You know, you put in little and then, you know, scalability increases. So I think for all of us, it's important that for our businesses, for organizations, our firms, whatever it is we're doing, the architecture is important. What exactly do we want? You know, and then the data, which is the engine, the exact data we need for that architecture, the processes we want, you know, are important. And then AI will reform or refine these processes to give us the best output. And that will be the architecture or the system of the organization. So thank you so much, Hafsat and Engineer Ken. So over to you, Princess.
Thank you so very much, Nella. Beautiful, beautiful input there. I can see someone call Waka Credits. Are we getting some credits to Waka this night or tomorrow? Please, who is this Waka Credit Limited? This is new. Please, can you kindly introduce yourself? Or if this person is your guest, also speak up, please.
Sorry, I joined with my business line. Um, Currently at the airport, so I'll just be on mute. Right, and I also joined late.
It's okay. So
But
are we
with
getting
time,
some
there
Waka
will be
credits?
money to, with time, there will be credit to work on it.
There will be Waka credits because I Waka a lot too.
No
So I love
problems.
that business name.
It's designed for you.
Perfect. It's a pleasure. We didn't get your name.
My name is Epi Anao.
I guess that this is your first time joining us. This is the Business Readers Global. We'll send you a link to our website so that you can get to know more about us. Time may not permit us to introduce the whole book club, but we meet every time we're in section, 1 hour max, to be able to unpack, you know, different learning materials, especially business journals. So yeah, we're discussing a book called Competing in the New AI Age. You'll find it on our website also, Competing in the Age of AI. So we are currently looking at chapter 3 and 4. We've had 2 discussants and we're trying to unpack insight. I think you came in late, so I may not ask you for your input, but I mean, feel free to join us anytime. Yeah?
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll come in here, Princess. I apologize for not introducing my guest earlier. I wasn't sure he could join in because I
Oh, perfect.
knew he was at the airport, yes. But thank you for joining in, and yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, Nenlab.
Thank you very
Key takeaways. Of course, I know Miriam cannot speak. She's also in a busy. Joy.
Okay, good evening once more, everyone. Wonderful presentations. I was driving, I managed to get some, but I must say that I've learned AI is the in thing now. We cannot do without AI. The world is driven by AI. And like Princess says, data is the new gold. So we are in the world of AI and we keep exploring. And I know that in future, soonest, if you are not involved, you will be you will not understand and you'll not do not belong to the world of possibilities. Things are happening and we must say AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
I think yes, Joy. Thank you very much for that input. It's very important that we explore. Very, very important. So I think this is our first book dedicated to this subject. We will keep doing more with this regards to ensure that everyone is trained and we become technological savvy on this particular subject matter. And if there's any course you're taking and you want to unpack it in the boardroom, please feel free to also do that. Mumi, are you available to speak?
Hello, Lady Princess. Good evening, everybody, members of the boardroom. Actually, I've been so distracted that I'm not able to contribute anything. However, tomorrow, inshallah, I'll read the book and because the princess, no, I just visited her. I'm just coming back from her house, so don't mind her. She distracted me. Thank you.
Mumi, you just sold me out. Kai was Eva. Kai Dalla. All right. So, key takeaway, Engineer Ken, I'm so proud of you for presenting, even though you are not in a very conducive environment, you still tried your best to be able to present your materials. So thank you very much for that. Lady Afsat also, of course, I always love to listen to you. And that was a very clinical presentation on your part. So thank you so much for presenting. And of course, your background looks good while you were presenting. I said we were going to speak about that, but you quickly turned on the light on your background. So that was really nice. In the absence of any contribution, I can't see any hands up. Any contribution? Can we close with a final take from Engineer Ken?
AI. The world is going AI. Everything is powered by AI now. In fact, AI is becoming reality. So we all have to embrace it. We have to work hard to know the basics of AI and utilize it in our day-to-day operation. Thank you very much.
Was your presentation powered by AI?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Lady Afsat, your final take. Your final take, and maybe a more reliable, relatable insight, experience, in recent times. Lady Afsat, are you there? Okay, I don't think Lady Afsat can hear us. So it's 10:09. Okay, that's 7:09. Don't mind me. My computers are still set to Dubai time. To those of us who are joining, especially Miriam from the UAE, thank you so very much for joining. Umi is back home, and I'm glad that I was able to see you. Thank you very much, Umi. And to our new joiner, Mr. Waka Credit Limited, please don't forget, we need this Waka Credit by all means. Safe travels. And please don't forget, we also have meetings tomorrow. And yes, tomorrow is Thursday. So usually our meetings run from Monday to Thursday, daily when we are in section, and runs for only an hour. We always have an anchor and, of course, 2 or 3 presenter as the case may be. So thank you very much for joining. Tomorrow's section will start at 6 and we should be able to finish at 7 max. All right, so have a blessed evening. If you're joining us from Nigeria, of course, it's evening. Our Canada counterpart didn't join, so Oluwatoyin, the president, had asked to be excuse because he has a meeting tonight. So please, that's why he couldn't join. Thank you very much and have a blessed evening. Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Good night,
all.
everyone.